and I'm gonna bathe Miss Heidi here. I'm gonna walk you through some of the things that we should be doing at home, making sure they're getting all the way rinsed, how to mix shampoo properly, and all of those things. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this Dirty Dog Wash by Beth Shot. You can use whatever shampoo you wanna use, whatever smells good to you. Just more often than not, they're gonna need diluted. Even if they don't say that they need diluted, a lot of times it works much better if you do go ahead and dilute those. So this one says right on the top of the package, it says dilute up to 24:1. So that is a lot of water to just a little bit of shampoo. So she's really short coated right now. We got her all nice and ready for our bath. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just put a little bit of water in there because I don't want to waste a ton of the shampoo. And I'm just going to put a dollop in here. Now, a lot of times the mixing bottles will have writing on them. It'll tell you exactly where to mix those ratios in. But this one is very old. I've had it for a very long time. So all of the numbers are off of it. So I'm going to just close it up really nice and tight. Make sure that's closed so the shampoo and water don't go everywhere. Shake it up really good. Now, there are two schools of thought on what to do next. Some people bathe the dogs without getting them wet at all because the shampoo is already pre-mixed in our bottle here. And some people get the dog wet. Water is a vessel. It helps us just move the shampoo over the dog. So honestly, it's not going to particularly dilute the shampoo anymore. So I prefer to go ahead and get the dog wet. Dogs run a little bit hotter than we do. So we want our water to be nice and warm for us. So I'm gonna just fill my bucket up with water and pour it over her. I don't ever start on their head. Try and start on their body with them nice and wet. All right, and I've got her pretty wet. She's still got some dry spots, but again, my shampoo already has water in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open that shampoo bottle up. That was fun. And I'm just gonna squirt a little bit on the back of her neck. Come here, you're okay. And just kind of scrub that in there, all over her body. You'll notice it gets really nice and sudsy and really slick. So this shampoo does a really, really nice job, and I really don't need much of it. I get some customers sometimes that are really frustrated because they buy a really nice expensive shampoo and then they're like, well, it only lasts a few washes. Well, it only lasts a few washes because we're not diluting it properly. So in the grooming salon, I could get through probably almost 100 dogs with this. So that means at home, you could get through 100 washes on just that bottle. Obviously, the bigger the dog, the more shampoo you're gonna need. Good job. Good job. So she's squirmy, and that's okay. Most dogs are gonna be squirmy in the bathtub. You're gonna have a hard time keeping them still sometimes. So you can always get a grooming loop, and you can get a suction cup to attach to your tub. And then the dogs will just be kind of forced to stay just in that general vicinity. When you're getting their head clean, just be really cautious of the eyes. Try not to get any of that shampoo directly in the eyes. But you can also just be really aware of the ears as well. Don't open them up like that. Try to make sure you're going down and not getting any shampoo or additional water in the ears. I try and keep it away from the eyes as much as possible. They do make facial washes and tearless washes for pets. So you can always get one of those if you're not sure if you're going to be good enough to not get it in the eyeballs. But I like to just kind of take all of this fur and just get it really nice and scrub-dubbed. Scrub-a-dubbed. Good girl. So that's really all the shampoo I need. I have quite a bit left, and I really only use probably about a teaspoon and a half of shampoo. So you can imagine as you keep going and keep bathing your pets, you'll notice that you use less and less shampoo, and that's okay. That's a good thing. So I typically like to let the shampoo sit for a minute or two, and then I'll rinse it off after that. While this shampoo is sitting though, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dump the rest of my shampoo out because I don't have another dog to use it on at the moment. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my conditioner ready. I dumped out my shampoo and I filled it up with water, just a little bit, and I'm only going to use just that ever so slight amount of conditioner. The shampoo does a really good job of stripping all of the dirt and grime. It also does strip the natural healthy skin oils as well though. So we want to make sure we replace that with conditioner. And what the conditioner does is it puts back all of those nutrients that have been lost. It also makes it so they don't get all itchy and things like that. So I'm going to just put a little bit in here. I'm going to shake it up really, really well. The more you shake it up, the more emulsified the conditioner gets, which means it breaks it up and it activates it. Mix it up really, really well. And then I'll go ahead and I'll rinse her off and we'll get started on the conditioner part. Okay, so we got to rinse her off. Good girl. I'm going to use a bucket. You could use a cup. You can use your shower head. I'm going to start with her head now. I'm going to make sure it doesn't go directly down her nose because she could have a hard time breathing. You don't want her to do that. I'll put it right down her back. Good girl. Come here. She says, no, I don't want a bath. Come here. And go right under the chin. All right, so now I'm going to just get my conditioner all over her body, especially on her head where she has long hair. I want to make sure that I get that really nice and conditioned so that way we can brush her hair out and get her tail really well. I'm going to make sure it doesn't go in her eyes, but I do want to go ahead and get all of this long hair up here on her head and on her chin. And you can kind of rub it in as you go. Good job. I'm going to get her tail. It's kind of satisfying to bathe them at home though, because you can see all the dirt in the bathtub. So you know it's working. All right, so we're gonna let our conditioner go ahead and sit for a couple minutes. While we do that, I want to talk to you a little bit about mixing bottles. So I recommended using a mixing bottle for any time that you're diluting down shampoo. It's the easiest way to dilute shampoo and conditioner. Now, if you have a small dog like this and you mix up too much, and say you have one for shampoo and conditioner, I never recommend leaving that sit in there until the next time you have to wash the dog. There's bacteria in water, and if you leave it in the bathroom, because that makes the most amount of sense, right? To leave it in the bathroom, the humidity mixed with the moisture in there will cause awesome bacteria to grow in there, which is really fun to look at if you're a science geek, but you don't want to look at it or smell it if you're just trying to bathe your dog. So make sure that every time you're done bathing them, you do completely dump out your mixing bottle, you rinse it out all the way. If you ever feel like it needs cleaned, you can use white vinegar. That is a natural way to kill bacteria. So you could just put water in there and a little bit of bacteria or a little bit of vinegar in there. And it really helps get that nice and clean and sanitized for you. And then if there is any trace of that vinegar left in the bottle and it gets on the pet, it's not gonna hurt their skin at all because it is a natural product. Whereas something like bleach would kill the bacteria, but it'll also corrode out the inside of the shampoo bottle, which causes more porous surface for bacteria to grow. And it also is harmful for the pet if that gets on the skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse her off. I'm gonna start with the highest part on her body, which is her head. Good girl. All right. And you just want to make sure they get really good and rinsed all over their body so that way they're not itching. Sometimes I like to lift them up by the front legs if it's a small dog and get their belly really good. And then I definitely like to get their booty. You don't want any of that to be itchy for them. All right. And then we can squeegee her off. in the tub and then use a towel to towel dry her. And then we can let her sit for a little bit in the towel before we dry her is usually the best option. Or you can just go ahead and use a hairdryer on them as well.